hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing today? It's Wednesday again, and we are back on the intellectual soapbox with the Sensual Eccentric podcast. Now, there's a little bitty silent debate whether it's episode 12 or 13, but I need y'all to allow me to operate in my dysfunction because we didn't broadcast last week. And last week would have been episode 12. And so, even though episode 12 didn't happen, it happened in my consciousness and it's in the cloud. So, this is superficially episode 13. Y'all just let me be. That right there leads me into my crazy topic that I changed at the last minute. And let me see if I can get this right, because my brain be going at 100 miles per hour sometimes. If I am not mistaken, the topic tonight is when your mental illness makes you mad. Oh my gosh. This gonna be good. Cause I'm gonna let y'all get a little bit personally close to me. I'm gonna let y'all get in my business. I think it's the perfect time for that because sister ain't been good. I come here and I share and I pour out and I uplift and I give myself. But baby, when I tell y'all I've been a hot mess, y'all probably done seen a little bit of it. Do y'all know me well enough to know I've been off my square? But I don't know if I got too big for the square or if the square shrunk to where I don't fit on that mug no more. But somebody make me a whole new pedestal to get on, because the one I've been on is wobbly, it's shaky. But with that being said, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. I love being here. It'd be a struggle to come here every single week, but once I'm here, I enjoy it so much. Um, it gives me peace. So, with the topic being when your mental illness makes you mad, I don't know how many people gonna be able to relate to this, but I'm gonna talk about me. And if y'all can ride on my bus while I drive this mug, look, ride as long as you need to, as long as you want to. Hop off that mug when you need to, metaphorically speaking. But we're going to go ahead and take us a ride. The first thing I can think about or I can say is, how many people are not completely aware. Should I call it mental illness? I should just say a mental condition. I don't want to call it an illness, but it do make you feel like you're sick. Like we be sick in the head. Oh my gosh. That just hit me in my heart chakra. Sick in the head. Oh my gosh. But a lot of people don't understand the different mental conditions. And what's really, really unfortunate is when you don't have a physical sickness and it is mental, a lot of people don't take it as seriously as it needs to be taken at times because, there's levels to everything. So there's so many different spectrums as far as how bad it can be. And so a lot of people, when it comes to mental conditions, it's like if you're not the person that talks to yourself or what they call hallucinate and things of that nature, they don't take, and I'm not talking about a person that may suffer from mental illness because they be tripping sometimes too and don't take it as seriously, but the people around us, because if somebody can't see what your symptoms are, it's like ain't nothing wrong with you. That's so not cool. um so me personally right now, I've been dealing with some shit. I got a few mental conditions. I'm not gonna give y'all all my diagnosis. Y'all just gonna have to see my crazy when y'all see it. If it comes out, I'm trying to keep this shit like in a box. It seems like it just got dark. I'm gonna turn my light on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hopefully that is better. I didn't like that darkness from the shadow of my television when it went to sleep. But okay, I was talking about my mental illness and my different mental conditions. And just last night, I was thinking about everything I've been dealing with, how it's been getting on my goddamn nerves, like for real, for real. So we're going to use the word mad as far as being upset, and when it like literally like makes you mad because we be losing our shit sometimes, depending on what your mental condition is. But I have not dealt with serious mental health issues in about 6 years. And it seemed like it came out of nowhere, as with a lot of mental health conditions. And I said seems like it came out of nowhere, but it never comes out of nowhere. Depending on how your consciousness and your brain functions, what triggers you, and things of that nature. There are things in life that kind of pushes those mental health buttons. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Maybe, maybe not. But for me, for instance, I don't do well with sudden change. You can't look, don't flip the script on me in life. Even though life is nothing is gonna stay the same, things change all the time. But for me, it is difficult to deal with. Look, don't be sunny all day long and then all of a sudden it's pouring down rain. I miss the clouds? Where did the clouds come from? I didn't hear no thunder. Why the hell is it raining so fucking hard outside? In reference to something being just like switched up and changed all of a sudden. So I've had a few changes in life that shocked my system so much that it began to mess with my mental capacity to where it threw me off. And I haven't been functioning at my total normal brilliant self. Like she off. Oh my gosh. And so it's making me mad in two different ways. It's making me mad because it's literally fucking up my head. Like for real. I've been off the chain, y'all. But it's also making me mad because I get aggravated about it. It's annoying. Most people that deal with mental illness, a lot of times we are not self enough aware, spiritually aware, however you want to categorize it, to know how these conditions not only affect you, but affect the people around you. Now, when I'm operating at full capacity, I could be a mofo. I could be a little bit to deal with sometimes. I can touch a nerve and make you want to shake me. I mean, aren't all people like that? Doesn't everybody has the ability to get on somebody else's nerve? So that's on a regular great day, or when I'm having a great year, or when I've been great for a couple of years. But when I'm dealing with my mental conditions and things are a little frazzled and fuzzy up there, child, only the people that are close to me would be like, It's a bit much. And I know it's a bit much. And so it makes me angry. And I've been in this really frustrated and mad state of mind trying to deal with this freaking, or I'm not going to say this because it's more than one, these mental health conditions. Some may ask, well, what are you doing about it? I would be funny and say none of your damn business, but I'm handling it. That's me being humorous for real. That's not the craziness. That's the humor. But I have taken several, not just precautions, but avenues to not completely going off my rocker, so to speak. But the chair is been rocking, and sometimes it rocks a little faster than others. Sometimes it rocks in slow motion, and depending on, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, depending on which one of my personalities are present, whether the chair is rocking fast or slow could be good or not so good. One thing that is important, I think, that we as people should understand and be compassionate about is not everybody uses their mental health conditions as excuses. Let's go there, because I'm not going to say that randomly popped up in my head, but maybe that came from my spirit for a specific reason. So I'm going to go with it. There are a lot of people that uses their mental health conditions as a crutch to be shitty people. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfair, and it's not freaking cool. Depending on what your mental health condition is, let me go back a little bit and say it's always great to have an official diagnosis. Can we do that, please, people, and get some mental health profession, so we can understand ourselves, what we are dealing with, and how it can affect us? Because a lot of times we have these conditions, and we're not the, please know that we're not the only people that's suffering or dealing with it. Anybody that crosses your path has the capability to deal with your madness. Example, I can be very quick-tempered. Anything can set me off sometimes because I'm just like that. That's one of my conditions. And I'm laughing to myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being so transparent. Especially on a live broadcast now. OMG. I'm like, it's odd for me because I'm an open book, but to share myself this publicly is it's a little different, especially because, or with me being in my anger part of dealing with my condition. Okay, so I'm gonna try to stay on track. People making excuses for it. There's a difference between wanting people to understand how you operate, what you're going through, what you've been diagnosed with, yada, 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 yada. That's fine and dandy. I'm not going to even say that they should understand it, but if they are going to be in your life, best believe they need to understand it. They need to. I'm going to say that again. If they are going to be in your life, if they want to be in your life, oh, all they absolutely need is imperative that they understand. But there is a difference, and there's a fine line between them understanding and the person with the condition taking advantage of their understanding. There are times to where I'm so off my square, I have to shut myself down because sometimes I get unfiltered with the way that I speak and how I respond to people. Now, normally, I am a very well, no, let me say this first. I am a very loving being. I'm very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Intentional with my words. I'm intentional with how I respond. I'm so nurturing and loving and caring. But if you come across me, and I'm not saying come across me as you done did something to me, you ain't got to do nothing to me. But if you so happen to be dealing with me when I'm off balance, you would never knew I was loving because I'm sharp and I'm rude and I'm not trying to be, but it's like the filter disappears. Like she be a completely different person. And I don't like that. So because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And there's been times to where I done said things. I've responded a certain kind of way because I become the tell it like it is. Like, them people that straight no chaser. It's like, damn, did you just really punch me like that? You ain't have to punch me with your words like that. And so then I start thinking too much because at the time I can't help it. And then I start overthinking and I go into anxiety attack mode. Y'all know how many anxiety attacks? Well, y'all don't know, but just throwing it out there. I've had so many anxiety attacks, I'll say over the past 3 months, because I'm transitioning into what for me is like my new normal again. Because I haven't dealt with this in 6 years. My mental health, what's the word I'm looking for? Mental health issues start to occur not just when I've had certain changes in my life, because that'd be a shock to my system, but depending on what those changes are, how long they last, if I start to become unhappy for too long, then that's when I know I'm in like a long-term unwell state of mind in my being, if that makes any sense. And I think it was just last week I do not want to get emotional. Shit happens when you live, when you broadcasting, right? But just within the last 2 weeks, I came to the knowledge that I am not happy in life right now. And I was like, dang, because I didn't know I wasn't happy. I know I was having unhappy feelings, but to have unhappy feelings and to be unhappy are two totally completely different things. And I'm like, damn, I'm not happy. And that fucked me up even more. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Because there's certain things that I can do to make myself happy. But now, because it's been so long, it's like my brain has to totally recover and heal from the unhappiness for me to get back balanced. That is always a process, not an easy one. And sometimes that process is long. I'm going to take a pause, try to get my bearings about myself because somebody has joined the chat. Welcome, love. I'm so happy to see you.
How you doing, Galaxy Venus? Can you hear me?
I can. I'm doing well. And I say that humorously, sarcastically, and honestly, and all of them are true at the same time. Oh, my
no,
God.
that's real. You be having to be like, you know what? I want to be like I'm doing all right, but no, I'm doing great. Fuck it.
Because eventually I will be doing great. I know, like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Time does not go in a line. So at some space in time in my life right now, I'm okay. Things are well. And so I don't just look at right now. That's some other shit. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm well and unwell at the same time. But thank you for joining. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just listening real quick. I can't stay long. I'm about to get on my computer and do some work, but I just had to hop on here because one, before I say anything, I just want to say, provide a caveat for you and say, I think you're extremely brave to present yourself in this manner and to be vulnerable and to, illustrate to whoever's listening, some of the pitfalls that you're trying to maneuver or things that you've learned about yourself. Because it sounds like you've done some deep introspection where you understand the origin of, maybe some of the holdups, emotionally or mentally that you may have. So I just want to say that there's not a lot of people that's brave like you to talk about things like that. And just basically hearing you speak about that in your own personal journey, it actually helps a whole lot of other people, even though they might not tell you that. So that I just wanted to make sure you understood that, you might think that you're going through these problems or whatever, but the bravery that you're showing on the show right now, that's like leader type shit. Yeah.
I appreciate that so much. I'm almost speechless because it's not easy for me. Me, as Spirit spoke to me about a month ago because I've been saying for a long time, I hate social media. I don't like being on social media. I'm not a social media person. And Spirit just kind of like, hey girl, do you know that you're building a brand? You are a content creator, love. You can no longer say that I don't like social media because this is your tool. Like, you are a public figure now. And I've never looked at myself as a public figure. But when I think about the way that I would like to present myself as a public figure, it's not easy to let people see your weakness. Cause I'm that bitch. And I don't need people to see me when I'm struggling and when I'm like, cause when I struggle. This shit gets real. And so it is so encouraging for you to publicly tell me that I'm displaying leadership and being courageous and brave, because I'm just keeping it real. This is what I do. Like, this is who I am. I don't know no other way to be.
That's real right there. And I just wanted to say, to add my little 2 cents into the topic of what you're talking about. So Galaxy, you were talking about sudden changes, right? And how it agitates you to the point of feeling like you're not mentally okay, right? And it's like changes or environmental changes is like a trigger for you, right? Like around 2023, 2024, I was undergoing the most crazy, like, transformative shit in my life. And, I had to come, it was like the mid 2023, I had to come out the pocket to help my grandfather. and I was happy to do it, but it really put me back. And then it was like some other unexpected, uncontrollable things that happened personally in my life, that all came around the same time. And I was in the process of moving. So, that was an ordeal, right? I experienced so many changes all at once that I was feeling kind of like how you're talking about you feel. And I'm going to say something that is going to be cliche as hell, right? But it's the, metamorphosis story of the caterpillar. And you're familiar with that, right? Right. So it's, the caterpillar essentially, forms into chrysalis. And in its stage of, like, if you want to call it evolution, but the metamorphosis is happening. And when it's ready, right? Like, the whole entire caterpillar body literally becomes nutrient for the chrysalis. So, like, literally, it's in dire need and struggle until it pops out of that cocoon.
You better say that.
Now, it's not exactly in pain because it doesn't have the brain receptors to identify pain in that way, but it is absolutely agitated. That's like scientifically documented, that the caterpillar is agitated as it's trying to struggle out of the chrysalis. And I think that the word agitation is kind of an understatement for, like, you, me, and human beings. But still, changes. It's agitating. So, but
because it creates
the thing,
friction, and people don't understand what that friction, that uncomfortability in it. That's the agitation right there.
absolutely. But see, and the thing that I focus on about that story, even though it's like a caterpillar's metamorphosis is like a cliche, simple story, the simplicity of it is everything to me, because it illustrates, right, that there's a reason why the caterpillar needs to be agitated in the chrysalis. It's developing the strength that it needs. Now, it might not know it presently in the moment. It just knows that it's agitated. But the way that nature designed it, it's like as it struggles, it's actually developing the strength it needs, that when it pops out of that cocoon, it can actually fly. If it doesn't struggle and if it's not agitated and the cocoon open, it would just fall to its death. So, not really trying to get deep here, but essentially it's like, in the moment when you are agitated, when those changes happen, what I like to do is believe that there's a reason why I'm in that position.
Almost deaf.
It's for a future plan that I'm unaware of. And, a caterpillar crawls around. I seriously doubt that it could ever imagine that it could fly as a moth or a butterfly. So when you're agitated and those changes happen, just know that you can't even imagine what your evolution will be. You can't even imagine what God or the universe has set for you in the future. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
I appreciate that so much. The beautiful thing about what you just said is, I was thinking to myself, the caterpillar doesn't know, or may not know, because I'm familiar with the story, but I don't know if consciously they know they're turning into something else.
They don't. They don't.
So the beautiful thing about me as the species that I am, my self-awareness, I know that whenever I'm in this kind of agony and mental anguish, that I am transforming, because this ain't my first rodeo by far. I done died many a spiritual deaths. And so I'm okay with it. It just sometimes be the people that has met me at a certain point in my journey. And it's like, don't worry, don't fret. This too shall pass, because there's something greater because of this. But I don't think that the caterpillar story is cliche at all. It also reminded me of the story, the clam, how pearls are made. They have to sit up in that clam and be agitated to form this beautiful pearl. When I first learned how pearls are formed, I said, "My gosh!" Like literally was like, "Oh, clutching my pearls," because damn, they go through a lot. Like my goodness. And we look at pearls and we admire them, and they so beautiful and they're so valuable and they're so this and they're so that. But they got agitated like so badly to be this beautiful product that we can marvel over. Or in addition to that, how diamonds are made from coals, how you got to
Oh,
be
I was literally
pressed
just thinking.
and
I
put
was literally just
under the
thinking that.
fire.
No, no, well, hold on, wait, Galaxy. I was literally just thinking that. Holy shit. So here's the thing, right? Now, when you say how diamonds are made, coal and fire, right? But here's a little deeper, and this is something that like I learned about, I think 3 years ago. So basically, right, elevated carbon. When
Can we pause for
carbon,
1 second? I
oh yeah,
see
yeah,
people
go ahead,
in
go
the
ahead.
chat, and
Okay.
I just want to acknowledge the people that are in the chat. Greetings, hello everyone that is watching and listening in the background. I appreciate you guys for sharing space. This is the Sensual Eccentric podcast, episode 13, where the topic is when your mental illness makes you mad. Hey, we getting in there, we chopping it up real good, y'all. It's like anybody like they shit chopped up real fine? We chopping this shit up real fine. Go ahead, hon.
Well, elevated carbon, right? So not all coal or carbon, right, that comes from the earth is turned into diamonds because they're not exposed to the extreme heat that it takes for coal or carbon to become a diamond. So when the coal or carbon is under extreme stress from the heat, right? It's probably like looking at all the other carbon around it, like how come they're not in extreme heat? How come they're not dealing with what I'm dealing with right now? It doesn't know that it's about to form into a diamond. So it might seem unfair to that carbon that it's in heat and the other carbon isn't, right?
And which is
But
why we compare our lives to other people while I'm going through so much shit.
exactly. But then, right, the unfairness or the perspective of unfairness changes, because once that carbon becomes a diamond, then the other carbon that was not exposed to heat might look at it and go, "How come I didn't turn into a diamond?"
Where jealousy comes in that, oh, you a diamond now. You
Exactly,
think you all that. You don't know what I
and
did, what
that's
I had
all.
to go through to get here.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You want to go through this heat? You feel me? Hey, Galaxy, it's been lovely speaking with you. Like I said, I'm always watch your channel. Mr. Best in the World, Intellectual Soapbox, he's really good at sending, notifications out about people's lives. So I just want to thank him for that. But yeah, God bless you, Galaxy. And hopefully, I guess I just wanted to tell you that I resonate with what you're saying right now. But
I
I gotta
appreciate you
go.
so much, and you have a very special place in my heart. Whenever you're able to pop through, even if it's only for a little bit, look, time is valuable, and you just gave me your time. That's priceless. So until next time,
Hey,
love.
God bless.
My. I told y'all we was chopping it up real fine. Oh my gosh, I appreciate him coming through so much. So for those of you guys that may be just tuning in, we were discussing um how agitation um and changes like can cause transformation. Usually I believe that it's supposed to cause transformation in your life. That is the purpose of you being agitated, because just like that, you're being transformed into something not necessarily better, because whatever state you're in, we should be our greatest at at a specific state that we're in at any given time. But when we're under that agitation and we're being transformed, it's to be something different. So when we transform into that different thing, then we can be the greatest that we can possibly be in that state. So we were discussing the caterpillar and how the caterpillar goes under its transformation in the chrysalis. We talked about how a pearl is formed, and then that led to the diamond conversation with, being pressed and put under fire to be a diamond. And all of those things, people look at the finished process or the finished product after the agitation, and that's usually what we consider beautiful. A lot of people don't really like caterpillars. They're insects. How many people you got to really, really understand an insect to love it and not just dismiss it. But most people, unless you just really don't like bugs and moths and butterflies, annoy you also. But most people would choose the butterfly over the caterpillar. And so that's an interesting thing right there in itself, that, you know, when we are in our caterpillar state, most people may not even appreciate us. They don't know how wonderful and how dope a caterpillar is because we just don't. Or the coal that we were talking about. You look at a lump of coal and it's cold. That ain't shit to you. But you would look at a diamond and be like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. But they come from the same thing. Life is something. I said at the beginning of the broadcasting, we can't live, exist, and go through life without changes. Change is inevitable. But what we must keep in mind and understand that change means growth. Think about flowers and plants, trees. When they're changing, they're growing, they're evolving, they're expanding. No different with us. So when we're changing, even though that change is painful and it's difficult, we got to know that we're growing and see the beauty in the growth. Like, it's not going to always be uncomfortable. The process is uncomfortable, but when we have transformed, when that change has fully taken place, it's like it's a breath of fresh air. We can breathe, we can relax. And that's why when I when I fully understood that, okay, I'm not happy right now, so I have to transform into a happy being. There's going to be some growing pains with that. The double conundrum. I'm not okay with it because I don't like being uncomfortable, but I trust my process. And because I trust my process and I know that I'm transforming into something different or more beautiful or however you want to see it, for that, I'm okay with my agitation. For that, I'm okay with being off my square, or, not functioning at my full capacity. And I just do everything that I can to be as mentally stable as possible. I spoke about my avenues. What was the word I used? I don't recall what words I used, but there are certain devices or vices that are in place uh to keep me or help me from completely losing my shit. Therapy is good, y'all. I, Therapy is great, y'all. It's helpful. It's beneficial. Yeah, it is. I'm a witness. So the thing about therapy, and if you're a person that feel like therapy isn't helpful, if you've never tried therapy, I don't think you are qualified to say therapy is BS, it don't work, or I don't want to talk to no stranger about my problems. You may say you don't like okra, but if you ain't never ate okra, don't say okra nasty. You don't like the way okra looks. You don't like the concept of okra, but you can't say it's nasty if you ain't never had it. Okay? So when it comes to therapy, you can't say therapy is bad, it don't work, that's BS if you've never tried therapy. Now, if you have tried therapy and you still have that opinion and that's your point of view, I would ask, how long did you give it a try for? It's just like when people are on a weight loss journey or something like that, and they'll maybe do something for a couple of days or a week, and they want these major results. You may get results in a week. You may not get results in a week, but whether you do or don't, just because you haven't gotten the results that you desire, don't mean that the plan isn't working. So, if you've had therapy before and your viewpoint is therapy don't work, how long did you how long was you in that thing? Did you give it time to set in? Do you know when we take medications, it got to get in our system to start the work? You gotta let the therapy work. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Um, I'm not gonna stay on here too long. I feel like, hey, I'm done. Anybody in the chat want to come up? Y'all want to share space? Y'all want to show some love? Um, talk about an experience. I'm not sure how many people are here. Um, I'm gonna have me a laptop soon, and so I should be able to see better because these words be small, and I'm not able to see everything. So if anybody would like to come up and share, definitely feel free to do so. If not, we gonna get on up out of here. This is the Sensual Eccentric Podcast, episode 13. Oh, I let y'all in my business. We got real. And it's going to keep getting real. Look, like I say, I don't know no other way to be. Mary J. Blige said I would sing it, but I ain't had no honey and no lemon. But Mary J. Blige said, just take me as I am or have nothing at all. Nothing at all. Look, this is me. For real, for real. Um, if you stop by, if you catch it on the replay, hit the like button. Share it with somebody that you think would benefit from it, might need to hear it, even if they gonna talk shit about it. Share it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Intellectual Soapbox. We intelligent over here. I'm Galaxy Venus. This is the Sensual Eccentric Podcast, episode 13. I'm being consistent, guys. Yay, me. I will see y'all next week, hopefully at the same time, the same place. One love, much love, all the time. Before we go, I didn't give my final thought. OMG. So, what is my final thought this evening? Even if your mental health condition is driving you mad or making you mad, it's okay. Um, it's a saying that popped up in my head a minute ago. I'm so silly, y'all. Look, I got jokes. I'm a comedian in my own right, of course. But to continue my final thought, if it's making you mad, I can't believe I'm about to say this on the air, but scratch your ass and get glad. There it is. Scratch your ass and get glad. Y'all ever heard that saying before? Cause I'm an old broad. Like I'm seasoned, y'all. I'm not 55, 60, 65 seasoned, but I got a little Lowry's on me. But I don't do Lowry's because I don't like sodium like that. But Mrs. Dash, oh yeah, I got some seasoning on me, baby. Look, those were my final thoughts. One love, much love, all the time. This is the Sensual Eccentric podcast, and you are tuning in to the Intellectual Soapbox. I see y'all soon. Mwah.
The DJ.